Welcome in, everybody. Congrats, Bad Witch. Evening Ramen. Aw, thank you, XTR. That one is so cute. Welcome in, everybody. Hi, Eversea. Fun playing a super annoying game with you today. Thank you, Amber, for the paper crane. Hello, James. Hi, Sharper. Hi, Justin. Hi, Amy. Well, Justin, what kind of stories are you talking about? Because I would say about 80% of the videos you see of the weird screaming you hear in Appalachia that people can't identify when they rent a cabin on vacation and they like never spend time with wildlife in the wilderness. I can tell you it's probably about 80% of those videos. Anyone from Appalachia will immediately go, that's a fox. It's a damn fox. It's always a fox. But city people and people, not even city people, because I used to live in Los Angeles for like almost a decade. So people who don't spend a lot of time with wildlife or in the wilderness don't know how to identify. They just think it's like it's going to be instinctive. How would you even know what noises you heard? Most people wouldn't if they were honest with themselves. So a lot of the sounds that you hear videos of, y'all just don't know what the noise is. No offense, but it's just more a case of city people going into the forest and thinking everything is terrifying. Yeah. Yes, I am ramen. But I will say, yes, there is spooky paranormal stuff going on there. I won't say there's not, but I will say a large percentage of what has been hyped up is the emergence of Airbnb and city slicker people getting brave and thinking, because before Airbnb, they wouldn't even know where to find a place to stay in the Appalachian Mountains. But now they're all going out there and they have zero experience with any wildlife, any wilderness. Like I was shocked when I started watching paranormal investigations with Kim and stuff. I already watched them before, but we watch them more now. And for being paranormal investigators, like 90% of the people, and these are mostly dudes, like go into the wilderness or jungle in the middle of the night alone, and they like freak out about how there's bugs everywhere. Every single one talks about bugs. And I'm like, you're in the middle of the forest at night. What did you think was like? And it just shows that like people have like literally no concept of what it's like in the wilderness or like what wildlife and noises are that are around. And it's honestly insane. So I will highly suggest that if you don't have a lot of experience out in the wilderness, go do it. Oh, thanks, Faith. Just go do it. You don't have to like leave you don't have to stay overnight in a haunted forest by yourself the first time, but like go by yourself and take a stroll through the forest every couple days and connect with the wildlife. You will recognize sounds. You will start to notice things, and you will also be very grounded, and it's good for you to get the oxygen and all that stuff. But like green spaces are actually very good for you. So is vitamin D, all that stuff. But Kim, right? Like it's crazy. It's crazy. So I will say, to answer your question, yes, weird stuff goes on, but I would say 80% of the stuff that becomes viral videos or is hyped up or is shared to get, views and likes is mostly people freaking themselves out because they're not used to being out in the middle of nowhere. Because majority of the population lives close to each other now in the suburbs and we kill every animal that comes into our backyards and we keep everything away. So most people, it's not like some fault, it's just the way our society is now. Most people don't have connection to the natural world that we actually come from. So that is what I would think is why it's so hyped up, because I'll tell you, as someone who grew up there, yeah, we were warned about stuff, but it was not the way it is now. We weren't like, yep, you're going to disappear. Shoot, you look out your windows, you're dead. I mean, that's just ridiculous. No, it's not that extreme. But also the internet is a marketing tool. You have to remember that social media is still heavy marketing. So people do whatever they can to dramatize. So it's theater. It's basically anything you see, imagine the person produced that to get likes and views and to make money off of that piece of content. So if you look at it with that lens, a lot of times you realize they're just exaggerating. Or, I used to think they were faking. I'm like, there's no way they don't know that's a fox. And then my friends were like, I don't know what a fox sounds like. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, thanks, Holly. That's so sweet of you. My friend Christina does that too. She loops it. Hi, Sparkle Tree. Hi, Graham. Hi, Kenneth. Really? Oh my God, Kenneth, what a compliment. He just said you remind me of the late Art Bell. That is the highest praise you could tell me. He's an icon, especially in the area of what I'm doing. So thank you so much. I can only hope to be half as weird as him. I'm good. Is it Mommy? I'm good. How are you? Yes, I loved Coast to Coast as well. The other guy that took over was okay, but Art Bell was cooler. Asking what a fox says. Oh yeah, there is, isn't there, Kim? Art would be proud. Oh, thanks, Ramen. You guys are so kind. And you know what's funny is my first venture on TikTok, my first lives, for the first like few months, I did a panel where people came up and would tell me like a call-in show, because a lot of times they didn't show themselves on camera. They would just like come up in a box and tell me their paranormal experiences. So it was kind of like what he had callers, you know, but I just had people kind of call in, but through the guest box on TikTok. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I got a lot of inspiration from my stories, from people's stories. But also I only had like 40 people in there. And so it was pretty slow, and it was a lot of the times just the same people coming up, so it wasn't that fun. But I tried that whole like caller type of story thing. Hi Seabass. Hi Rochelle. Yeah, average Z, you do, because we have foxes here. How far are you in the rural area, or are you like in the burbs of Detroit? Because you're not going to see them until you're out in the country. Or randomly, sometimes they'll wander into the burbs, you know, but they're never going to be in the city, except for in the UK. But their cities are kind of different, and their foxes are very different. Yeah, Kim, yeah, like Witchy Wednesdays are small. But it's also not helpful when you're trying to grow a brand, you know. Suburbs, but you get out into the woods sometimes. Okay, yeah. So it's like if you were in the woods more, you'd increase your odds of seeing them, you know. But I'm not gonna lie. I used to blaze, and I used to drive out in the country and just do country drives, and that's when I've seen them. Is when it's night and I'm like randomly out in the country, like frequently, because I also was a stargazer, so I'd go out in the country a lot. I haven't done that in a while, but Jen, thanks for the prairie blitzy. I wanted to see what that looked like. He's so cute. Apparently his name is Blitzy, you guys. That's the purple cat that I love. His name is Blitzy, which is kind of hilarious since I just said I love to blaze. That's kind of funny. But yeah, so I think if you increase the amount you go out. One time I saw a creature that I was like, I don't know what that is. And so I had to try to describe it. And I'll tell you what, Goog, give it a Goog. And it didn't disappoint me. I found out what it was. And y'all, it was like, what was the name? I already forget now. Something like that is very rare to see in Ohio. And it was like they live around here, but not very much anymore. And they're like endangered or something. And like, I saw one. I feel like it's called a polecat, but I feel like that sounds very stripperish. So I don't think that's what it's called. But it's like they're related to badgers and wolverines. It's like called a something cat, but it's actually like a wolverine. And I saw one night, ran across the road, and I was like, its body was weird. It looked like a giant ferret almost. Hi, Vampy. Fisher cat. Thank you, Graveyard. Thank you, Mackenzie. Bingo. I saw a Fisher cat, y'all. And apparently that's not very common. And I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know they existed. I had to look it up. Have any of you guys ever seen one? Hi, Don. And I was like, it was a weasel looking, like, but big, you know? And I was like, what the hell is that? I know, Jennifer, but it was cute. I still would have been like, can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? Yeah, coyotes are, I feel like, everywhere, but what does it say? They scream like someone being, Graveyard. I've heard that before and I didn't know what I was hearing. That makes sense. Honey Badger is your spirit. Not in person? Yeah. It's big and long. Exactly. That's why I said it looked like a weasel. Yeah, Kim. It looked like a giant weasel. And that's why when I saw it, I was like, I don't even know what I'm seeing right now. What the hell was that? Because weasels are kind of oddly snake-like. I know that sounds weird, but do you guys know what I'm talking about? Weasels' bodies move strangely. And this thing's body was like weaselly. And I was like, what the hell is that thing? And it was like black. Like it looked like a shadow animal. Do you know what I mean? It was so black. like solid black. Didn't even have any other color fur. Hi, love. Sarah, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. Hi, Annette. Yeah, I've seen mountain lions, several, and I've seen bobcats, but the Fisher cat was something that was weird because I just couldn't identify. I didn't know what it was. I had to Google like black, long creature, and like I literally had to find pictures and be like, oh, it looks like that, and then I had to like find my way to what it was. Anna, did I? Wait, did I? I'm proud of myself. Yeah, because everybody has different YT names. Oh my God, thank you. Hi, Trisha. Thank you, Ramen. I love that guy. He's got a flower in his mouth. Hi, Christina. Christina said Spearfinger request. By the way, yes, guys, we've been chatting for a minute. I didn't realize what time it was. Please write your story requests in all capital letters. Isn't it adorable, Kim? That's the one I sent you. In all capital letters in the chat, and I will write them down and we will vote on them. Asheboro, North Carolina, around dusk, and we came face to face with a pretty big fox. Who wasn't particular. Yeah, foxes, they're usually pretty nice, but they'll show their teeth. Do you know what I'm talking about? Even like how dogs do, they do that because that's just, they want you to go away. They're scared. So they're not really known to attack, but they do like to do that. Like, you know how chihuahuas do that all the time? Foxes like to do that. They like to show their teeth. They bare teeth, which is just their way of saying, listen, I don't want to have to fight you, but I've got these teeth. So like, back it up. Christina said, this is why I showed up. What is the story or the capybara gifts? And Christina, I love how you caught on so quickly. I love you. And you wrote it in capital letters. So proud of you. I love you. Also, just a reminder, tomorrow at 11 or 12, depending on how I feel, 11 a.m. or 12 a.m., somewhere between that time, or 12 p.m., somewhere between that time, tomorrow during the day, I do go live in Witchy Wednesdays, and I'm on camera, and we hang out and chill, and I don't tell stories, and we just chat it up, so come visit. Tomorrow it might be outdoors if the weather permits. I might go, like, take you guys on an adventure. You have badgers in your garden? Khaleesi, where do you live? Oh, yeah. Yep. You're right, Anna. Sharper, I heard doing that gets you flagged for fake engagement, but I'm not sure. But I heard that gets people restrictions for fake engagement or something like that. But who knows? This app has a mind of its own, literally. There are no rules. There's no trick. It just does whatever it wants. Glinda, who's smiling? Oh, that's okay, Sharper. I just learned that recently too, because my friend got one of those restrictions. Vampy, you can request both. You're so funny. Oh, sleepy and dehydrated, Yanni. Drink some water. Yanni, you don't want to look like Spearfinger in the morning. Drink some water. By the way, I called Christina Yanni. Don't ask. She's just like she's been my friend forever. So that's my nickname for her. So if you wonder who I'm talking to when I say Yanni, I'm talking to Christina. I know it doesn't say that anywhere in her TikTok name, so you would literally have no idea who I'm talking to. So just wanted to clarify. I'm talking to her. I just can't help it. I always call her Yanni. I'm not used to like really calling her Christina that much. Sherry said we don't need stinking badgers. Okay, Sherry. Sherry, let's write this down. Sherry votes no for badgers. She does not like badgers. Oh my god, you're so cute. You did that to add the UFO? Look at you with your UFO. Oh, you guys, she changed her name just so she could fit the UFO. You're so cute. Oh, I love that. Trisha, did you write your request? Michelle, have you written your request? Did everybody else get their requests in? I feel like a couple people who usually request, I haven't seen yours. And Michelle Dean, thanks for the follow. Like the Magic School Bus, yes. Yeah, Anna, I knew it was Anna's Creations. You still have your picture. You're so cute. Your house fills up with skunk smell every couple weeks. You have skunks. Yeah, my yard gets like that. Just the other night, I took Merlin out after the live because sometimes he likes to feel real sneaky and go out really late at night. But he stays really close to me, which is so cute. And when we went out there, it smelled like skunk. And I was like, oh man, someone just came through the yard. Glenda, don't worry. We haven't picked a story yet. Everybody's just requesting. Wait, Christina, did you say no ISS for me? I paid attention in class. Madhouse, I don't have a Kelpie story. Do you mean Selkies? Melinda said, is Gilly joining? You mean, or Jilly? You mean Virgil? It took me a minute. I was like, oh my god, Virgil. Jilly. Virgil. Jill. Good old Jill. For the request line. One time a skunk chased my car. I had to floor it in reverse. That's so cute. They get so stompy. Okay, Trisha, I got your request. And Michelle, I got yours too. I just didn't go back far enough in the chat. Because I was like, you guys usually always request. Okay, I think I got everybody's stories. I will be right back with the first poll. And welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky... Hi, Ian. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Mackenzie, just type it again. I think I did, but I don't know. Catherine, the new story is called Spearfinger. The house sitting story. There's a couple of those. Can you be more specific? Because there's like 3 of those. I house sat a lot in my 20s. What did you find on Pepper's ear, Yanni? A tick? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Is Pepper okay? Oh, ticks. Glinda said ticks, but I think she meant ticks. Is Pepper okay? Hi, Sapphic Witch. Is it Wednesday for you over there? Happy Wednesday. That's okay, Glinda. I figured you were using talk to text. Yes, Lady Rose. There's the one where I house sit for my professor. There's one where I house sit for this weird older couple. And then there's... Oh, I guess I wasn't really house sitting in the man in the red coat, but I was like watching my aunt's house and cleaning up. So I always like people to specify because there's a lot more Mormon houses that are not mine. Magical book? I don't think I have a magical book story, Omar. Okay, I'll be right back with the first poll. Ooh, Christina, 100 comments. Chatting it up. Chatting it up. Man Bat of Chicago. That sounds fun. And yes, Sparkle Tree, you can. Don't worry, a lot of people have requested that. Let me write that down right now. Man Bat of Chicago. Is that the one that they keep saying they think might be Mothman? That they've sighted around Chicago? Thanks for the suggestion. I just wrote it down with my clicky pen. Milton. The names just keep getting better. We have Virgil and now we have Milton in Chicago, which you meant Mothman, but Milton's pretty funny. Yeah, Glenda. I've heard about it for a while, but I didn't know it was called Man Bat. People keep me alerted on, my clicky pen. People keep me alerted on anything Mothman related because everybody knows he's my favorite. Everybody knows we've got a thing. Okay, I'll be right back with the first poll. I'm running behind, sorry. Welcome to the porch, and if you guys could do me a big favor, Man Bear Pig. If you could do me a favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner, there is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost, and that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch. So does sharing to your stories and messaging your friends. Oh, it's not though. Okay, so Man Bat is different than the Chicago Mothman. Good to know. Yeah, but Leslie, just because you haven't seen him doesn't mean he's not there. Oprah lives in Chicago, but have you seen her? Did tell everybody I live in Chicago, but no Oprah. Yeah, Chicago definitely has some spooky stuff for sure. Not to mention it was built on burial mounds, but you know, no big deal. Don't get me started on that. Thank you, Trisha. I love how he wiggles his feet while he's eating the pizza. Hi, CJ. Oh my God, look at him. Look at him with the flower twirling in his mouth. I can't handle it. I could literally watch those. I want those to be, hi Ian, I want those to be spooky deep dish. I want those to be my wallpaper on my computer and my TV on a loop. I'm going to figure out how to make that happen so I can just look at him all the time. Yeah, look at him. He's the flower. I can't. That brings me way more joy than it should. Like, I wish they lasted longer, and I can't handle how cute they are. Hi, bye, Jamie. Love you. Good night. Sweet dreams. Thanks for stopping in. Another real life friend. Yeah, he's munching. Wait, your middle school principal's name is Justin Beaver? Stop it. That can't be real. Look at him wiggle his feet with the pizza. I can't handle it. Who made these? And do they have the best job ever? Probably. The little lily pads. Like, whoever makes these, did you know that their whole job is to sit there and be like, hey, how am I going to make this cute as hell? Someone's job to make those. So cute. Be right back with the poll. Timothy, I don't, but I can. What would you like? What Pukwudgies items would you like? I literally had someone specifically tell me, I'm not going to say who, lovely, who when I put that one on screen that day, she goes, well, I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to wear any merch with those guys on them. So I kind of didn't prioritize it because I was like, yeah, that's probably true. They're kind of creepy. But if you want some Pukwudgie merch, let me know what you want and I'll make it. You just had your pop? What kind? Yum. Oh my God, the towel with the little buns. Trisha. Onsen capybara. The little towel buns on his head. That's probably my favorite one. That's lasted for a while because Michelle gave me one of those ones too. Like, they definitely, that one's still around. It's so cute. Isn't it cute? Did you see his little buns that he made out of a towel to cover his ears? Like, stop it. Christina, you missed it. Oh no. There we go. Everybody watch. Like, somebody thought of the towel on his head. I love it. I can't handle it. Yes, at the spa. They did look like Layla buns. Oh my God. Thanks, Trisha. I can't read what it said. It said capybara with what? Yeah, don't worry. I'm still typing it in while I'm talking to you guys. I'm typing it. Oh my God. Look at their butts. Okay, you guys. It is done. Okay, the first poll is ready. We have Spearfinger, the news story of the week featuring Christina. Oh, I always get sidetracked, Vampy. Thank you. I appreciate the reminders. It helps keep me on track, but I actually was still typing. But usually I wouldn't be surprised if I was, so thank you. Okay, Spearfinger, the Fresno Nightcrawlers. You did help, thank you. The Door in the Water, the Masked Visitor, and the Pine Barrens Beast. Christina says Spearfinger. Alright guys, you can vote in the top left-hand corner if you're on TT. Okay, Graham, I'll have to look it up. Oh, thank you so much. Is it Kiger? Why can't I? LJ Kiger, thank you. It's on the poll right now. Oh my god. What was the kitty doing in space? Prairie Blitz. Wait, he's on the prairie in space? Oh my god, look at that little guy in the water. I just can't get enough of these capybara ones. They make my heart happy. Between the cats and the capybaras, my whole heart is like... Christina said, go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. Go, Spearfinger, go. And I can't even, like, influence it and vote myself. It won't let me vote. So I can't even, like, do it for people. Well, Shannon, you'll have to wait and find out. Justin, we have a few for Spearfinger requests. Oh, it's between Mass Visitor and Spearfinger. Mass Visitor was really ahead. Who's it gonna be? This finger of the spear or the masked visitor? Hi, Anthony. With a 4-wheel drive. Who called it 4-wheel drive last night? And I could not stop cackling. I literally lost it. Who was it? And they were like, she kicked it in 4-wheel drive. Holly, it was you. Oh my God, I lost it. You're like, she put it in 4-wheel drive. Hi, Anthony. All right, you guys, the winner is Spearfinger. I was cackling too. 4-wheel drive is just, what did Kim say? 4-wheel drive is diabolical. Hi, Lisa. Back at the fuck up, Terry. Right, she had 4-wheel drive. That's what they said. She had 4-wheel drive because she got on all fours. Yeah, Spearfinger. Hi, April. April also gave me a funny once that broke my story and couldn't stop laughing the rest of the night when she said Uranus was in retrograde. That's her, guys. The myth, the legend, April. Yeah, y'all, Christina texted me screenshots of the comments you guys made on Spearfinger's pictures. So feel free to try to top it tonight because you guys were hilarious. You're like, that's my ex. And Justin, you were like, she bet she gives good back scratches or something. It was great. Oh, thank you, Khaleesi. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Carmen. Oh, we got corn. Okay, I'll be right back with the tale of Spearfinger. Hi, Chelsea. Thank you, Lily. Also, I would like to give a shout out again to my friend John. I don't think he's here, but he is from the Eastern Band Cherokee Nation in North Carolina. And he helped me learn how to pronounce the Cherokee word for her. And so thanks. Tell your oldest I said hi. Hi. Trisha, no request for what? She could dial a payphone from a block away. Christina, did you see that one? Christina, they're doing the funniest comments for you right now. Are you seeing these? Oh my God. This is hilarious. No request for which one, Trisha? They said yippee. Aw. Oh, for that picture? Yeah. You mean print requests? Yeah. I wonder why. Grandma, what long finger you have. That's so funny. Christina, that's so funny, dude. Are you seeing these? What was the one? No, there's Vampy. There's no scary warning on this one. She's an elemental. She's not like a human. I'm not scared of elementals, so maybe I'm not the right person to ask. Justin said she could dial a payphone from a block away. And then wait, Spearfinger is in the business of pointing out the problem, Aqua said. That's so funny. I love that so much. Hi, AHQ. Are you talking to me? Are you talking about me? Welcome to the porch. Oh my God, she could roast marshmallows really well, Rochelle. That's a good call. She could just stick it right in the fire. Yes, hello. I am. How are you doing? My name's Devin, and welcome to the porch. I'm about to start a new story. Sit back and relax. Also, in case you are new, I do write all these stories myself, and they are all available and recorded on my YT channel as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Quick swig, and I'll be right back with the tale of Spearfinger. Leslie, me too. It's carnival season too. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of Spearfinger. And thank you, Leslie. Victoria, are you from North Carolina too? Ooh, how pretty, Paul. I love that. I love that. Thanks. People talk about the Great Smoky Mountains National Park like it's beautiful, peaceful, spiritual. And it is. But there's another side to those mountains that locals don't always discuss openly. The Smokies are ancient, older than every other mountain range on Earth. And there are places deep in those forests where the air feels heavy in a way that's difficult to explain. The fog settles low between the trees, and sound behaves strangely in the valleys. And entire sections of the forest go unnervingly silent, without warning. Long before the national parks existed, Cherokee communities lived throughout the region, and many legends were tied directly to the mountains themselves. And one of the most feared stories was the legend of Spearfinger. Known in Cherokee tradition as Lunta. According to the old stories, Spearfinger was a terrifying shape-shifting entity with stone skin and a razor-sharp finger made of obsidian-like rock. She could disguise herself as an elderly woman and lure people close before attacking them. Unlike other monsters from folklore, Spearfinger wasn't described as wild or animalistic. She was intelligent, patient, manipulative. The stories often warned travelers not to trust unfamiliar voices in isolated mountain areas because Spearfinger could imitate human behavior almost perfectly. Hi Zoe, it's the new story. Most people today treat the legend like a mere campfire tale. And I used to think the same thing. But then, I went to visit my friend Christina in Knoxville. Christina had moved to Knoxville several years ago for work, and she immediately fell in love with the Smokies. And I've always been obsessed with paranormal stories, cryptids, and Appalachian legends. And ever since Porch Lore took off, Christina had kind of gotten into it too. The first night I arrived, we decided that exploring the legends of the forest would be on our agenda. So we stayed up late, talking on her apartment balcony while warm summer rain rolled across the city in the distance. The mountains were barely visible beneath thick layers of fog and cloud cover. and Christina told me she had found a secluded hiking trail online that supposedly led to an old abandoned settlement deep in the Smokies. Hardly any tourists, no crowded overlooks, just forest and ruins. The next morning we left before sunrise and drove east toward the mountains while mist drifted across the road in pale ribbons. The closer we got to the national park, the more isolated everything became. Gas stations disappeared, cell service weakened. Dense forest crowded both sides, until it felt like the mountains were swallowing us whole. Eventually, Christina turned onto a narrow gravel road leading toward a nearly empty trailhead, hidden far away from the busier parts of the park. The second I stepped out of the car, I noticed how quiet it was. We started hiking shortly after sunrise. The trail wound through enormous hemlocks and moss-covered boulders, slick with moisture from the constant mountain fog. Sunlight barely reached the forest floor in places, and everything smelled like wet bark and pine. About an hour into the hike, we encountered an older Cherokee man sitting beside the trail near a small stream crossing. He wore a faded denim jacket despite the humidity, and he carried a walking stick carved with symbols that I didn't recognize. At first, he seemed friendly enough, nodding politely as we approached. Then his expression changed to concern. His eyes lingered on the direction we were heading, and he asked if we had planned on continuing deeper into the trail past the old settlement. Christina explained that we did. The man grew quiet for several seconds before warning us that certain areas deeper in the Smokies were avoided by locals for a reason. He spoke carefully, almost reluctantly. And eventually he mentioned Spearfinger by name. Even hearing her name out there beneath those trees made my stomach tighten. The man explained that stories about Spearfinger were never intended as entertainment. According to him, the old legends existed because people had encountered something dangerous in those mountains long ago. He especially warned us about hearing voices in the isolated parts of the forest. Then he told us if the forest ever became completely silent, that we needed to leave immediately. Christina and I exchanged nervous glances. But once we continued hiking, we mostly laughed it off. It felt eerie in the moment, but we just assumed that he was trying to scare two obvious tourists fascinated with folklore. Kim, you missed it. Last night I did that. I was screaming, "Christina!" just for you. The trail grew steeper as we climbed higher into the mountains. Fog drifted heavily between the trees now, sometimes so dense it completely obscured the woods ahead of us. Eventually we came across the remains of several collapsed cabins hidden deep in the forest. The place felt wrong immediately. The ruins looked ancient, half swallowed by moss and vines, and rotting wood sank into the earth while crooked stone chimneys rose between the trees like gravestones. And then the woods went completely silent. No birds, no insects, nothing. Christina noticed it too. But before either of us could say anything, I heard footsteps somewhere behind us. Slow, heavy, measured. Not an animal. These were human footsteps. We both turned toward the sound simultaneously, but at first, I couldn't see anything through the fog. And then a shape slowly emerged. An old woman stood motionless in the forest, maybe 30 feet away. She wore long gray clothing, stained dark around the edges, and her white hair hung in tangled strands around her face. At first glance, she looked frail. But then I noticed her hand. One finger was impossibly long, dark gray, sharp at the tip like chipped stone. The old woman stared directly at us without blinking, and Christina whispered that we needed to leave immediately. Hi AJ, yes, I am really reading this. Welcome in. We started backing away down the trail as the woman took one slow step forward. Even from a distance, I could see her smile widening unnaturally across her face. I remember realizing then that her skin didn't move normally. It looked too stiff, too tight, almost cracked in places like weathered rock beneath flesh. The woman continued watching us while the fog drifted around her legs. Then I heard something that made my blood run cold. My own name, softly spoken from somewhere deeper in the woods behind us. I spun around instinctively, but no one was there. When I looked back toward the woman, she had moved closer without making a sound. Anthony. Anthony, you little shit. Anthony, yeah, that's me. That's me on the screen, y'all. That was when Christina grabbed my arm and started pulling me down the trail quickly. The footsteps followed almost immediately behind us, perfectly matching our pace. Every time I looked back, the old woman seemed nearer than before, despite the fact that I never saw her fully walking toward us. The fog thickened rapidly until the trail became barely visible ahead. Then the voice came again, this time directly behind me. My name whispered softly from somewhere just beyond the trees. I turned and I saw the woman standing only a few feet away in the woods. That's impossible. There was no way she could have reached us that quickly. Now that I could see her closer, she looked less human. Her silver gray eyes reflected light strangely, almost like an animal's eyes in darkness. Beneath her thin skin, subtle grinding movements shifted across her face and neck like stone scraping against stone underneath flesh. Christina screamed, and that was all it took for both of us to panic completely. And we ran. Branches whipped against our faces as we sprinted down the mountain trail through dense fog. Somewhere behind us, something crashed violently through the woods. The sounds moved impossibly fast through the trees. At one point, I looked back, and I immediately regretted it. The old woman was no longer standing upright. She moved on all fours through the forest at horrifying speed, her limbs bending in unnatural angles, while her long stone finger dragged against the rocks and tree trunks with a metallic scraping sound. Thank you, Michelle. The image still shows up in my nightmares sometimes. We finally saw the parking area up ahead through the fog and sprinted toward the car as fast as we could. The second we reached it, I turned around one last time. The forest had gone completely still. The woman stood motionless at the edge of the trees, watching us and smiling. Christina reversed out of the gravel lot so fast we nearly slid into a ditch. Neither of us spoke much during the drive back to Knoxville. That night, neither of us slept. We stayed up all night reliving the experience, trying to make sense of what happened. Around 2 a.m, I walked into Christina's kitchen for water. And as I passed the window above the sink, movement outside caught my attention. An old woman stood beneath a flickering parking lot light near the edge of the apartment complex. completely still, just watching the building. The same tangled white hair, the same gray clothing, and the same unnatural position. My entire body locked up with fear. I called for Christina to come into the kitchen. She rushed into the room moments later. By the time we both looked outside again, the parking lot was empty. Still, neither of us spoke while Christina quietly locked every deadbolt on the apartment door. I drove home 2 days later. Christina said she still sees that old woman along the border of the woods outside her apartment. And every time she has tried to approach her, she just disappears into the shadows. So be careful where you wander out in the woods and who you come across while you're wandering. Because remember, looks can be deceiving. Christina! Christina? Where's Christina? Christina's not here. Christina's gone. Yeah, Anthony, you got it. You got it. Christina said, I tried to approach her with nail clippers and she didn't like it. Yeah, it's Christina's fault. Christina was like, girl, let me just help you with that nail. Thank you, Shane. And yes, Yoshi, I remember you. Justin said, you would need a chainsaw, Christina. All right, welcome in everybody. Thank you, John. Thank you, Ramen. Thank you, Ramen. Divine fingers. That's such a weird. That's so funny. Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Queen Lakota. How you doing, cutie? Yeah, you crashed out buying nails. Wait, from who? Who did you buy nails from just now? From one of our girls in China? Just tell me about it. What do you mean you crashed out? How many pairs did you get? Because I'll tell you what I had. I'll talk to you about it later. Yeah. But I crashed out buying nails too. I swear I blacked out. I don't even remember buying half of them. And then it was wild because they're so cheap. They're like $2. Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. Did you get them? Hi, Lorna. How you doing? I didn't even see you there. Oh, Lorna, we love you. What do you mean nobody talks to you? We love you. Everybody say hi to Lorna. She's our ride or die. She's here every single night. Love you, Lorna. What are you doing? And yes, Holly, that is based off of a real Cherokee legend. And a real Appalachian legend. All of the stories I tell are based off of real legends. Yeah, hi, Abby. Or Abby? Hi, Simone. I miss you. Hello, Paul. Oh my God, that capybara swimming is like, I want to swim with him and never leave the water. Yes, Abby, they are. Robin said, damn, I was just in Knoxville in March and I didn't see that crazy lady. Spearfinger's just walking around Harris Teeter. She's like, sup, y'all? She's up in the Trader Joe's like, hey, I live here. I live in Tennessee, assholes. I agree. I think Simone is such a cool name. Right, Holly? She's made out of rock. She's just an elemental. She's an earth elemental. She's made out of the earth. And I'll tell you what, she makes the best s'mores out of anyone I've ever met. Yes, yeah. Hi, Sierra. Yes, I am obsessed with history and folklore. It's literally since the beginning of my life. So I know a lot of really random folklore information. So welcome in. Welcome to the porch. And if you are new here, my name is Devin, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till about 1 in the morning. Christina said a mean kebab. You know, I dated some British guys in my life, and can I tell you that one of the things that I always thought was so funny is they call it a kebab. 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 Do you want kebab? Do you want kebab? They say it's so weird. They say it's so weird. And it always cracked me up. Yeah. Kebab. And it's just, I don't know why. It was just one of the few words that like really stood out to me. Because obviously he has a different accent, so he pronounced all kinds of things differently. But kebab was one that really stood out to me. Like, he pronounced everything differently, but kebab, it was really a doozy. And herb. Instead of, they say herb with the H. So, but why don't we say the H? That's the thing. I'm not even clowning him. Like, people just, dialects are just different. But kebab was hilarious to me. Do you want kebab? Do you want kebab? I can't even remember how he said it now, but it was really wild. It was like really weird. And I used to like obviously laugh about it. You do, Kim? Herb. I'd like hub chicken, please. Hub. But I feel like with a British accent, that sounds okay. But if you were American, you're like, I'd like a herb sandwich. I mean, it just sounds so much weirder. I'll tell you why we don't say the H ever. See, I already know why. Because part of our country used to be Mexico, and in Spanish they don't, like hombre and humble, Texas. So the H isn't pronounced in Spanish the way it is in English, so it's a direct influence of Spanish from when our country was Mexico, and somehow it just carried on. It just kind of spread. And then everybody's like, I'm not going to say the H if they aren't saying the H. And then it just stuck. Because British people legit say the H. And it doesn't make sense to me that we don't say the H. Herb. It's herb. And there's a town in Texas called Humble. And it's spelled humble. So, that's Spanish. And, you know, they don't speak Spanish in the UK. You know how many people have never had Mexican food around the world? Do you know how lucky we are? to like cross-cultural. Good night, Anthony. Love you. When the accents come out, stop, Anthony. You're funny. You were wondering why the H is silent? Yeah, it's influenced the Spanish. But you know how lucky we are to have Mexico so close. Like, I literally have friends in other countries that have never had Mexican food. Like, it's a regular, like, it's a, like they never have had it. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, Jennifer Lawrence, when she ate the hot wings. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? How? Oh yeah, Rhyme. I used to live in Los Angeles for a long time. I've had plenty of authentic Mexican food. It's just so good. I also lived in Texas, in Houston. So, but I'll say in Ohio is not the place. We are so lucky, right, Simone? Ohio is not the place for Mexican food, but we're very lucky to be so close to like that culture and their delicious food and cool ways, because I have friends all over the world who like dream about trying Mexican food. I'm like, yeah, you should. I'm glad the message has been passed along that it's pretty much one of the top tier foods in the world, because let's be real. Everybody knows, like, it's just really, really good. Jacob, udon noodles are my favorite. Like peanut noodle, like udon. I make my own. You have Mexican restaurants in New Zealand, Blondini? Cool. Thanks for telling me. I'm adding that information to the database in my brain, because my friend who comes in on the weekends, Isabel, she lives in Sweden, and they just got Taco Bell, and she was like so excited. LA does have the best Mexican food. You're a million% correct. I'll never get over not having LA Mexican food anymore. I miss it every single day of my life. Anyway, I told her, you have to go live so I can see you experiencing Taco Bell for the first time in your life. That's like something. Well, I don't even know the last time I saw somebody try Taco Bell for the first time in their life. When I was 4, I don't know. So she did. She went live, and I don't know if any of you guys were there, but it was hilarious. And she was like, "This is so good." I was like, "I know, duh, girl." Oh, you missed it, Justin. Well, you know what? I actually screen recorded it, but I have no way. I don't know how I would get it to you, but I screen recorded it, but it's long, and I don't know how to send files that big. You do in New Zealand, Blondini? Oh my God, you got to go live and try it. It's so good. AHQ. It depends. Taco Bell, yes. We loved, but Taco Bell is just the exception. And I like Taco Bell so much because they don't fry their food. I'm not a big fan of fried food, and Taco Bell's actually just like beans, meat, lettuce, and sour cream and cheese. I mean, it's actually kind of the best fast food you can get. It's kind of like a salad wrapped in a tortilla. That's why I like Mexican food. You can really just mix it all together. And it's a salad. Anyway, I will be right back with the next poll. And most Mexicans I know do not like Taco Bell. Most Mexicans I know do not like it. Unless they've been drinking. Robin. Robin, in Scotland. You don't live in Scotland. You were just looking to see if Scotland had Mexican restaurants? I love that. She randomly was like, hold on. I must see if Scotland has them. Oh, good. The Scottish people do have access to Mexican food, thank I'm just teasing Robin. She panicked. She's like, I'm going on vacation the next month, and like, if they don't have Mexican food, I'm changing my plans right now. Liam, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Yeah, she's like, thank God. She's like, we're gonna need to change this trip. I'll tell you what, be careful eating dairy in Europe. And be careful eating dairy in the Netherlands and Europe. That's all I'm going to say. And France. That's all I'm going to say. I'll be right back with the next poll. Yes, I have actually had Ethiopian food before, Holly, and you're correct. And it's really good. But I'll tell you, nothing beats barbacoa. What? Or chorizo. What? Good night, Rhyme. Thank you, Jess. Yes, and don't try to smuggle cheese out of the Netherlands. Not like I know from personal experience or anything. Just, I'm just throwing that out there. Especially wheels of Gouda that are flavored with cumin. Don't do it. I heard they won't let you. You love chorizo? Yes, me too. And I'm not Portuguese. I'm about as white as you can be, and I don't care. I love chorizo. Can I handle super spicy chorizo? No. But do I like the flavor of spice? Yes. Do I like it mild? 100%. Holly, I got detained trying to take a wheel of cumin flavored Gouda out of the Netherlands. And they literally took me into a little room and told me they had to take my cheese away. So I ripped the wax with my fake nails, dug it in, ripped the wax off, and I chomped a huge bite of the Gouda cheese into my mouth. And I looked at them in the eyes while I did it. And then they all started laughing at me. And then they took the wheel of cheese away from me. And after that, I learned that you have to declare cheese with customs in order to bring it across borders. Whoops. Yeah, Kelly, I really did. And my boyfriend at the time was British, and they stopped me and they're like, ma'am, you're gonna need to come with us. And I'll never forget, because I definitely also bought a bowl while I was there, because we were in Amsterdam. I bought an octopus glass bowl and we had smoked out of it. So like I thought like maybe it was the residue in the pipe or something. And he looks at me and he goes, what did you do? He lipped to me, what did you do? Because I'm such a handful. And I was like, I don't know, honey. I didn't do it. And then they took me and I thought they were going to like pull out the bowl and be like, paraphernalia. And they pulled out the wheel of cheese. And I was like, you want to try it or something? Like, and and I had no idea. And they could tell I had no idea. I know, Kelly. It was so funny. And they could tell I had no idea. And so then I looked at them, I was like, well, can one of you guys take it then? It's really good. And they were like, no, we have to literally throw it in the trash in front of you. And I was like, what? So they don't get accused of like stealing stuff, So like I had my fake nails at the time that were really claws. And I just dug into that wax that the wheels wrapped in, like a Baby Bell wax, ripped it open, just a little patch of it out, and I dug my teeth into it while I made eye contact with them, like, I'll show you. And I took way too big of it, like I could barely swallow it. I had so much cheese in my mouth that I looked like a chipmunk, and I was like chewing, and I couldn't talk because I was chewing so much cheese, and they were just laughing at me. And I was like, and then some of the cheese crumbled off onto the carpet, and I stepped on it on purpose. I didn't pick it up. I stepped on it, and I was like, I hope this sticks in the carpet. I hope they smell it and think of the cheese girl for the rest of their job here. I hope their whole room smells like cheese. And I did. I stepped on it. Let it get to the carpet. Yeah, I am. I'm so feral. And my poor boyfriend at the time, he's such a sweetheart. I just remember the look on his face. What did you do? Like, just ready to come to my defense and ready to back me up. Just like, tell me what you did. Tell me what I'm. And I was like, I don't know. And I was not expecting the cheese. So, good night, CJ. So basically, in case you guys didn't know, you have to declare dairy products when you travel internationally because of something called foot and mouth disease or mad cow. Fun fact. Dairy comes from cows. And yep, there's big time diseases linked to cows, and they're kind of strict about dairy products leaving country borders. Who knew? I didn't until that day. So, FYI. Yeah, Mackenzie. So don't get between Devin and her cheese. But I mean, honestly, I'd do it again. Like, obviously, if I would just declare it this time. But if I didn't know, I still would have done it again. Because I still to this day have not found cumin flavored Gouda since. And I still think about it and talk about it all the time because it was the best cheese I've ever had in my life. And it was worth it. Worth it. Lars, hi. Lars, I have before, yes. I don't all the time. Like, I'm not regularly doing it, but yes, I have. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Swimming Pumpkin. Swimming Pumpkin's such a funny name. Hello. Okay. Enough about cheese. Oh, Robin, you've never gone through customs? Okay, well, don't bring any cheese. Okay? That's all you have to do. Is don't bring any cheese. And when they ask you to fill out the declarations list to declare any items you have, don't be a stupid 20-something girl from LA who thinks she knows everything and crumple it up and throw it in the airport trash can. Read it and fill it out. Okay? That's my tip. That's my tip. Because they literally give you a customs declaration form. And I was like, I don't know what those are. I don't need one. I'm not declaring anything. I'm not like trying to export things. And I like didn't know what it meant and I just threw it away. Super cool. I can order what? Try Korean rib bone soup. Ooh, okay. That sounds okay. Sure. Thanks, Angela. Cheese delicatessen. Cumin flavor. Yeah, but like I'm sure I can order. I could probably order it from Holland, but like how much is it? That's the thing. Like, I'm sure I could order it. But I'm saying I can't find it regularly around here. I bought it. The wheel was so big. I could have like. I'm trying to think of how to describe the size of the wheel of cheese. Like I don't think you guys understand. It was like the size of a teenager cat curled up and taking a nap. That's like the most Taylor Swift description on the planet. But you know when cats are curled up in their little nappy ball? No, not as big as a spare tire. Like the cat, when cats are like curled up in a ball, that's like how big the wheel of cheese was. Like a teenager cat curled up in a ball. So like the size of a small pizza. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like it was a decent wheel. The size of a personal pizza, I would say. It was a decent wheel. It wasn't like a Baby Bell. We're talking like a wheel of cheese. Like I could have put it under my sweatshirt and like pretended to have a belly. Do you know what I'm talking about? I may or may not have done that because it was so big. Okay, enough about cheese. I'll be right back with the next poll. Reverend just came in and said, cheese? You missed it. I'll have to tell my Gouda story. I've told it like 3 times already. So I'll have to tell the Gouda story again someday, but you missed it. But it's about Gouda cheese and how I love it. I also applied to be the communications officer at a cheese company once, because I was thinking about quitting news, which I ended up doing. But at the time I was still like, okay, but I could do like communications officer. A lot of people in the media do that. So I applied for a job at a cheese company, and I literally wrote in my cover letter that I think I'd be a Gouda fit. I literally did that. And you know what? They never called me back. I don't want to work for a company that didn't appreciate that kind of humor on a cover letter, okay? Goodbye. Glad you didn't call me back, because who wants to work for a company that doesn't appreciate cheese jokes? I know. And I thought it was so clever. I showed my parents and everything. I was like, look, I'm a Gouda fit. Like, I was so Alexis in Schitt's Creek. I was so proud of myself. I was like, look, I put Gouda fit. They're going to think it's so cute and funny. And then I never heard from them. And I was like, you know what? You probably hired someone named Bob who lives in your town and you already know him. I thought it was clever too. Thank you, Chris. Because I was like, and because I think I'd just be a Gouda fit for your company. But they did not think it was very funny. Yeah, I know, Kim. And I was like, and my sister was like, did you ever hear from him? I'm like, no. She's like, it was the Gouda joke, wasn't it? I was like, yes, Megan, probably. Okay, yes. Because my sister's so not like that. We're so different that she would have never put that on a cover letter. And I was like, yes, okay, it was probably the joke I put on. I'm sorry. Okay, I can't help. I can't be. I'm a silly goose, okay? I'm a goofy gal and you can't change me. Yeah. Thanks, yeah. But like, also, the calm person is usually always like the fun one in a bunch of sticks of mud. So like, if they weren't even willing to hire a fun calm officer, ew, bye. Because like, the PR person's always the kooky lady that's like, okay, you guys, you need to act like you're normal humans, you know. And if you can't even, right? If you can't even have a funny, charming PR, then bye. I hope your cheese company doesn't do well. I hope you sell no cheese. No, I'm just kidding. It was actually a blessing, because then I would have ended up working at a cheese company, and I don't think that would have been fulfilling. Maybe I would have gotten a hookup on cheese, though. Okay, guys, the next poll is ready. All right, we've got the Ozarks Howler. Yeah, Kim might have all the hookup on the new cheese. Hi, Tanisha. Okay, we have the Ozarks Howler, the camper van, the librarian, the masked visitor, and the dream machine. You can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. We have the Ozarks Howler, the camper van, the librarian, the masked visitor, and the dream machine, which is an Are You Afraid of the Dark reworking. Who's it gonna be, you guys? The Ozarks Howler, the creepy camper van. Oh, that's okay, Chris. I love you. The librarian, the masked visitor, or the dream machine. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Hi, Ninja Guppy. Really, Pippa? Hold on, let me check. Which one are you voting for, Pippa? You're the one vote for Camper Van Paul. Oh, there's 7 now. Hi, Dawn. Which one? None of my stories are too scary. Except for maybe the maintenance man. I would say that, and the crawl space. But those are the only 2. And I give warnings before I tell those. What's all yours, Pippa? Which one did... Oh, camper van? They're all yours. Let me look. Yeah, it definitely didn't count your votes this time. I just looked. Last time, remember, I told you I looked and your vote showed up. They did not. That's really bizarre and annoying. Maybe you need to restart your phone. Because I think that will clear your cache. I bet you your cache needs cleared in your TT app. I can also help you figure out how to do that tomorrow on Witchy Wednesday live, because I showed somebody how to do that last Wednesday. Are you lovely? I know. I've rewatched it a couple times too. It's so good. Kristen is an icon. Kristen is an iconic female character. I love her. She's so, like, everything. I just love her. She's so hilarious. And when she attacks Leland with the high heel, it's one of the funniest scenes in the whole show. She's like, what do you think, Leland? And she, like, doesn't have a weapon, so she just takes off her shoe. And she literally attacks him with her high heel. And the winner is The Masked Visitor, which is from that show we were just talking about. This story has been... Hi, Jade. This story has been done in Twilight Zone. And wait, what do you mean, how new? How new? What do you mean new episodes? How new? This story has been done in Twilight Zone, in Are You Afraid of the Dark? And it was most recently reprised for the show Evil, which Lovely and I are talking about right now, which I did in fact love and was the inspiration for this story. So I'm going to try to verbally explain the scene from Evil to you guys, and let me know if you guys remember this episode. Usually I let you guys guess first, but Lovely let the cat out of the bag. So this is in fact from Evil. And yes, Virgil's in this story, Justin. Evil was so good. Kristen is an icon in that show. An icon. Like, she is such a layered character. I just love how she's so complex, and she's not, like, it just shows how dynamic women really are. I just love her character so much. Oh, Queen Cece. Yeah, Kristen's the main character. Hi, Tommy. Yay, Thursday. Yeah, Kristen's the main character in the show Evil. Yes, yeah, we're talking about the show Evil. It's about the Catholic Church's exorcist program. It's just really dark comedy. It's a really creepy dark comedy. Like, it's very out there. So if you're not an out there kind of person, you're probably not gonna like it. Like, she has this sleep paralysis demon named George that comes and visits her at night. He's my least favorite part of the show. I don't really think that part adds much to this show at all. But I get over it. I'm like, whatever. But it's a little weird. That part is weird. But the rest of the show is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Hi, Matt. Yeah, the only place that has all seasons is Paramount Plus, unfortunately. Because Netflix will just let you watch the first couple seasons and then you'll be hooked. And then they're like, oh, by the way, we don't have the last 2 seasons. It's only on Paramount Plus. So, just an FYI, that's where it's available. Hi, Tommy. The one that was targeting the priest was cool. Yeah. So it's very good. And no, Kelly, I haven't seen that one. You think that Exorcist show was better? Which one, Kelly? Are you talking about Evil? That's the one I'm talking about. Yes. Oh my God. The mosquito one. I forgot about that, Ariel. That one was so gross and creepy. Anyway, I'll be right back with the tale of the masked visitor. And if you guys could do me a big favor, while I'm setting up the next story, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow our beautiful porch. Also, sharing your stories, sharing with your friends, all helps immensely. Hi, Amy. Welcome in. And grab a beanbag chair. Grab a hammock. Sit back and relax. And welcome to the porch. Also, thank you to those of you who are tapping. The taps are greatly appreciated. If you guys don't mind tapping, it really does help a lot. And I haven't seen a lot of tapping tonight, so I would love if you guys would just take those fingers and dance them across the screen. And I will be right back with the next story. Angela said finger dance. Also, ladies and gentlemen, Angela Dawn, also one of my real life friends. I love how my real life friend, my girls show up and support me. And they're also just goofy gals like me. She said finger dance. Tap if you think Devin should have been the exception to keep her cheese. Well, duh, Justin. We've been friends since we were 19. I only hang out with goofy gals, with funny girls. Plus, I'd just like to once again repeat that when I ran into Angela for the first time in like 15 years, probably, or a really long time, 10 years or something, It was at Home Goods, and she was walking out of the store with a giraffe, a stuffed giraffe, bigger than her, literally bigger than her, because she's not the tallest girl. And it was so big it didn't fit in the cart, so she had to carry it out. And I was like, Angela? And she's like, oh my God, Dad. And we're like, reunited and it feels so good. And she's walking out with a giant giraffe. So if that just says anything about our friendship. She saw that giraffe at Home Goods and she was like, you're gonna be mine. And we used to like be club friends, like, you know, go out to the club friends. And then I saw her at Home Goods, like chilling one day in leggings carrying a giant giraffe. And I was like, Angela? Hey, girl. It was great. But we really do run into each other everywhere. We also reunited at the airport one day. We just randomly were flying to totally different destinations at the Detroit airport. And we literally crossed paths. Like I heard someone calling my name and I turn around and it's her at the airport. Like, you know how many concourses there are at the Detroit airport and how many other... It was so random. And we were both at the airport on the same day. It was super bizarre. So I feel like some friends are supposed to be your friends, you know? The universe just kind of like, hey. I know. It was so cute. I was like, what are you doing? Hey. And that was a huge regret. Remember that trip, Angela? Yeah, my sister had to come save me. I was almost a Lifetime movie. And no, I'm not kidding. A guy locked me in his apartment in Dallas. And my sister drove from Austin in the middle of the night in her pajamas with a baseball bat to come get me. True story. True story. I almost got taken. That was so horrific, Angela, remember? And I wore my croissant necklace because I was so excited. The whole thing was just bad. And I was like calling Angela every day from that. I was like, yeah, so this is not great. Of course you didn't forget. Nobody forgot. My sister still like has a hit out on that guy. Not really. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'll be right back with the mass visitor. Yeah, tap if you love croissants. And yes, Jade, I do. I have a sterling silver croissant necklace. It's one of my most prized pieces of jewelry. And it's really funny because it's a crescent croissant, which are the basically only kind, in my opinion, the best kind of croissant. The one that's shaped like an actual crescent. Not the twisty kinds at Starbucks. The actual ones that are shaped like a crescent. And so people think it's a moon when I wear it. And they're like, oh, cute. And then they walk up and they're like, is that a croissant? And I'm like, you bet it is. You bet it is. Yep. I got it as a gift. I got the sterling silver croissant as a gift. True story. From a guy I dated for a 3-month anniversary. I was like, I didn't even know people celebrated those, but thank you. Oh my God, it's a croissant. That's awesome. Thanks, yeah. I am goofy. You told me what, Scarlett? Oh, the song. Yeah, it's stuck in my head now too. I know. It's the best gift ever. And I literally only dated the guy like for pretty much like 3 months. Like it didn't go very long. And I still am like, I hope he's doing well. Because that was a great get. Like, no hard feelings to the dude who gave me a sterling silver croissant necklace. Like, you know, wish you well, bro. But he was one of the most neurotic people I've ever known in my life. He was a psychiatrist, and that says everything you need to know. Anyway, be right back. Kim, you get it. Kim said, yikes. Paul said I'd get you a giraffe. You know what? I would want a capybara necklace. Duh. I mean, giraffes are cute and everything, but like, everybody knows capybaras have my heart. Capybaras are like, I dream of like having one as a pet. like a little kid does. A little kid dreams of having a pony. That's how I, every time I see a capybara. Like childlike love for it. That's how I feel about them. Yeah, Tanisha, you can buy your own croissant necklaces. You know? Angela is trying to get people to tap. Tap for capybaras, tap for croissants. Croissants and capybaras are two really great things, so just saying. And candy and chocolate. They all start with a C. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. And Christina. Yes, I did like Care Bears. Are you kidding, Scarlett? Are you kidding, Scarlett? Who owns that place? Are they my soulmate? You have a capybara cafe that serves croissants in Florida? The beach, capybaras, and croissants. That's literally my dream. Oh my God, your name is so funny. Forgive us our TikToks. That's amazing. Forgive us this day our daily TikToks. And yes, this is my 3rd grade picture. Jade is correct. That was me in 3rd grade. No big deal. I was a weird kid, like I said. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the masked visitor. Matt said, as I walk through the valley of TikToks, I shall fear no real. Matt is so witty. No, Tommy, I gave this dress to my niece, and now she wears it in the graveyard. You know, as one does. Oh, that makes a lot of sense, Matt. I too, my dad was an English teacher and my mother was a history professor. That's why I'm a nerd. That's also why I grew up hating Andrew Jackson. Beefy said, yeah, that's why. It's called The Mass Visitor. Halloween had draped its shadow over Ridgemont, a town where time seemed to slow down, especially on nights like this. The streets lined with century-old oaks whispered with the wind as the last trick-or-treaters scurried home. The Brenner house, perched at the corner, was glowing in the dim light of the pumpkin decorations on the porch. Jade. You don't know who Andrew Justin. Oh, Justin. Come to Witchy Wednesday tomorrow and I'll tell you all about him. I'll tell you the truth about him and why he doesn't deserve to be on our money. Anyway. The Brenner house, perched at the corner, was glowing in the dim light of the pumpkin decorations on the porch. Inside, 4 sisters, Lindsay, Taylor, Emily, and Sophie, had returned from their Halloween escapade. The sound of their laughter echoing through the halls. Sophie, the youngest, bounced with her candy bucket, her steps frantic, still caught in the energy and excitement. But while the girls buzzed around, their mother, Christina, was distracted. An unexpected work call had pulled her attention, and with a disappointed sigh, she packed her bag. She explained to the girls that she had to leave for a bit, but their Grandma Sharon would be there soon. And so would their friends for their sleepover. The mention of the sleepover perked up the girls. Kelsey and Haley, their best friends from next door, would join. But then, there was Brenda. At the mention of Brenda's name, a brief silence fell over the girls. Emily shuffled her feet. Brenda was a girl from school, someone none of the sisters particularly liked. She was uppity and could sometimes be outright mean. Christina reminded the girls to always be kind, even when others were not. Plus, she had already promised Brenda's mother, so the decision was final. The girls sighed, exchanging uneasy glances. But Grandma Sharon's arrival soon restored their cheer. The girls adored her laid-back, mischievous nature. And as soon as she stepped through those doors, the house felt lighter. After a brief catch-up, Grandma Sharon sunk into the couch to enjoy a Halloween movie marathon. And the girls descended to the basement, a makeshift playroom that doubled as their spooky storytelling space. The girls were ready for a night of laughter and fright. The basement, which was always a source of comfort for the sisters, now felt different. Shadows danced along the walls, stirred by the soft glow of their flashlights. Lindsay, always the leader, started with a haunted house story. Her voice shaky as the other girls huddled close. She embellished the tale, adding eerie details, but just as the tension peaked, the basement door creaked open, and everyone froze. Standing in the doorway was Grandma Sharon, and beside her stood a girl in a mask. It was Brenda. The room chilled as she entered, and Brenda didn't even speak. She didn't even greet the other girls. She just stood there, stiff and still. Her costume making all the girls feel uneasy. Sharon gave the girls a gentle warning to behave and retreated upstairs to continue her movie. An awkward silence blanketed the group. The girls tried to include Brenda, offering her candy and commenting on her costume, but she remained mute, watching them through the eyes of her mask. The unease crept in deeper. Lindsay attempted to restart the spooky story, but Brenda's silence hung over them like a weight. It was weird. When it was Haley's turn to share a ghost story, her voice faltered. Each girl cast nervous glances at one another, hoping someone would break the tension. Matt. When Brenda finally spoke, she said that she had a really scary story. I know, Jade, I can't stop laughing. Matt always cracks me up, Jade. And she asked the girls if they wanted to hear it. They all excitedly agreed that, yeah, now it was Brenda's turn to tell the scary story. And did she ever? And she began to speak about a little girl who had misbehaved so badly that her parents locked her in her room and set a fire outside the door, intending to burn her alive. The girl screamed and struggled to escape, but there were bars on her windows. She tried to squeeze through the bars, but the flames burned her as she tried to get out. The story ended abruptly with no twist or scare, leaving the girls confused and disappointed. But Brenda wasn't done. She suggested that they finish her story somewhere scarier, somewhere fitting for the end of her tale. The cemetery at the end of the block. The suggestion of the cemetery sent a shiver through the group. It was an old neglected place that none of them dared to visit after dark. The air felt colder at the mere mention of it. But this was Halloween after all. And they were kids, and the promise of something truly spooky was too good to pass up. Sneaking out was easy. Grandma Sharon had dozed off on the couch during her movie marathon, so they were able to slip out the back unnoticed. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. The quiet night outside was starkly different from the warmth and safety of their home. The wind whistled through the trees, casting long shadows under the streetlights as they made their way to the cemetery. The cemetery gates creaked loudly, their echoes swallowed by the vast darkness. Once within the cemetery, there were gravestones, some crumbling with age, jutted out like jagged teeth. And Brenda led them, her steps certain, until they reached an empty grave. The earth was freshly disturbed, a gaping mouth waiting in the silence. The other girls hesitated, looking at each other with growing unease. This was no place for games. But Brenda insisted. She pointed at Sophie, the youngest, and the smallest, and told her to lie down. Thank you, I love that one, Lily. Thank you, Rachel, for the fingers. And told her to lie down. Sophie's heart raced. She glanced at the other sisters, hoping they would protest, but no one moved. The silent pressure from Brenda and the weight of the group pushed her forward. So, shaking, Sophie climbed into the grave, laying down on the cold earth. She looked up at the starless sky, her breath trembling in the crisp air. Meanwhile, back at the Brenner house, Sharon had been startled awake by the ringing of the phone. It was Mrs. Lillard, Brenda's mother, apologizing for her daughter's absence this evening. Brenda had fallen ill and had gone to bed early. Sharon's eyes widened as Mrs. Lillard explained that Brenda had been in bed all night. Sharon's heart sank. Wait, if Brenda was at home, then who was with her granddaughters? Frantically, Sharon rushed to the basement only to find it empty. The girls were gone. Panic took over and she immediately called Christina, telling her to come home. Whoever had come to the sleepover hidden behind that mask was not Brenda. Sherry said, Christina. At the cemetery, Brenda stood at the edge of the open grave, where she spoke of the girl who had been so burned by her parents that she looked like a monster, with no one able to stand the sight of her. But on Halloween night, she could wear a mask and walk among the living, unnoticed and unafraid. As Brenda spoke, she reached up and slowly removed her mask. The girls gasped in horror as they saw her face. Melted skin, a mouth contorted into a permanent scream. It was not the face of Brenda Lillard. It was the face of someone burned and broken. Someone that didn't belong in the world of the living anymore. Terror exploded through the group and the girls screamed, scrambling to the exit of the graveyard. Brenda didn't move, but watched them flee, her laughter echoing like a cold wind. Sharon arrived just as the girls stumbled out of the cemetery, their faces pale. Christina pulled up moments later, her face filled with fear. The girls pointed to the mask lying in the grass, and between sobs, they told the story of the phantom girl who had come to their sleepover. And then Sharon told them that Brenda had never even left her house. The Brenner family stood there in stunned silence as they realized that a ghost had walked among them. A phantom hiding behind a mask, seeking out her one night to walk among the living again. The Brenners hurried back to their house, leaving the cemetery and the phantom behind. The mask, still lying in the grass near the grave, seemed to shimmer in the moonlight, waiting for next Halloween, when the ghostly girl would return to walk among the living once again. And that's the tale of the masked visitor. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Pittsburgh Penny. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Michelle. And Are You Afraid of the Dark? That story took place in the graveyard with Old Man Corcoran and his harmonica. Do you guys remember? And the two boys had just moved to the neighborhood and they made these friends and they played tag in the graveyard every night. And then it turns out they found the graves of all the kids they've been hanging out with, and all the kids they've been hanging out with were ghosts. I have been obsessed with these kinds of stories since I was a kid. I'm literally like an encyclopedia of like reference. So I get my inspiration for this stuff from everything. Thank you, Jamie. Does anybody remember that Are You Afraid of the Dark? They took his harmonica and he was pissed. He just wanted his damn harmonica back. You remember that one? Yeah. It was so good. And then all the kids were ghosts. He went back and told the guy, and the guy with the harmonica wasn't a ghost, and the kids were. And he was like, no, I'm friends with this person. He's like, dude, I dug their graves. Such a good episode. And as a kid, you guys, that show is what woke up the spooky girl in me. I was like, what? Because when you're a kid, you're not even putting together the clues. You're just watching. And then all of a sudden it was like a twist. I was like, they were ghosts? And it was like I loved that kind of story. I loved it. Good night, Lauren. I love you. Sweet dreams. Really, Kim? I love that. You loved it too. Me too. It made me. That show and So Weird. Me too, Kimberly. Yes, we all thought he was the ghost. Yeah, I was like, I was like, oh my God. It was just, because it also made you realize it was like, they were talking about child mortality and like the kids were dead. Kids can die. I mean, it was just a really it was a really, that one stayed. And so I think it's cool when Evil redid it. I immediately was like, this is like the Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. She's a fucking ghost. She's a ghost. She's gonna be a ghost. And I was just so excited to see that they had like paid homage to that kind of story, you know? And I feel like I'm the nerd that noticed, because immediately I was like, this is Are You Afraid of Dark. Oh my God, this is the Are You Afraid of Dark. But then before that, Twilight Zone did it. Twilight Zone did the diner, where hint, where I got the Sycamore Diner idea from. Remember the Twilight Zone episode? He went into the diner and everyone was a ghost, but he didn't know that. I think at the end he was also a ghost and didn't realize it. Yeah, you remember that, Michelle? Yep. That was my inspiration for the Sycamore Diner, because I love Twilight Zone. So I love all these kinds of stories. I think they just are timeless. People just like this kind of cool, like, whoa. Because it's like not even really that scary per se. It's more just like spooky and unexplained and like, whoa. That's what somebody was telling me last night, was that you Spooky Bestie. I need to look that up. I do know that there's a show on Netflix based off that, right? Because I actually started trying to watch it, but the kids being sick thing, I don't know. It's kind of a depressing angle. And I was like, it just didn't really catch me. I'll try it again. Yes, and X-Files. Yep. And So Weird. We cannot forget Fiona from So Weird. And the cute little dude I had a crush on from Disney World, or from Disney Channel, Brink. What was his name? Something very like Nordic sounding. Like Van Hosten or something. Van Wilder. I don't know. You guys know? He was the brother's best friend. He was like, yeah. Me too. God, I loved him. What was his name, you guys? God, I loved him. I had the biggest crush on him. He was like, yeah, dude. Eric Von something. Deborah, thanks for the masquerade mask. Maze, thanks for the lights. Jamie, thanks for the capybaras dancing with their booties. Yeah, now I have to look at it. It was Eric Von. Gosh, I'm blanking. Me too, Pneumastic. Nobody ever talks about it. And that show was a huge inspiration. That show made me like who I am. Fiona was an icon. She was like a feminist icon back then. If you rewatch it, I rewatched it as an adult, and like Fiona went to the beat of her own drum, and she didn't give a F about anybody. She didn't give a flying F. And I'm like, no wonder I'm the way I am. I grew up watching her, and I was like, yeah. And Harriet the Spy, which I can't even believe Michelle Trachtenberg passed away. That's really weird. Anyway, So Weird was my inspiration for the Marshlight story. Remember in So Weird, she had like 3 episodes with the Will-o'-the-Wisp, the Irish folklore. That show taught me half the folklore I know. And the Will-o'-the-Wisp, remember that light that used to follow her around on tour? Should we see that weird ass light in the woods? That's the Will-o'-the-Wisp, and that's what the Marshlight is based off of. So I literally pull from all of these stories we grew up with. That's why I say like nostalgic, because that's where I get all these ideas from. So they feel familiar because that's intentional. Like I pull from these different. Everybody talks about that one for some reason. Everybody brings that one up. Brooke. And I don't think it's that scary. It must have been really scary to people who read it as a kid, because I've had 5 million people recommend that story to me, and I finally looked it up one day thinking it was going to be something like, whoa. And it's really, have you reread it as an adult? Because it's not really that scary. Like, her head falls off. She was holding it on with a ribbon. But like they don't explain anything else. So it's like trouble with the wet lily. Yeah, Jamie, thank you. That's exactly why we all love this style story, is because I draw all my inspiration from all of the things we loved growing up. Shadow the Will of the Wisp is Irish folklore. It's basically fae or an elemental, whatever you want to call it. It's a light that lures people into the swamp. And it can mimic and shapeshift. It can mimic voices. I'll put that story on the next poll, actually. Yes, Irish folklore is really good. Irish and Scottish, and the old folklore, it's the same because they weren't different countries back like in the so the real folklore from like the Druids and like my ancestors from like ancient Scotland, those are the same lore across all of the Isles. All the British Isles, but now people like say it's Irish or whatever, but this exists all over the British Isles, and I think they all have, that whole area has fascinating folklore. The girl with the purse. Wait a minute, I think I have Paul. Isn't she like carrying it around a suitcase, on carrying it around and getting on the bus and getting off the bus or something? She like goes home with the guy because it's raining. Is that the story? Because I saw that on like a Japanese scary show, and that was scary. Me too, Pneumastic. Me too. Like, I'm thinking about that Japanese. I'll tell you right now who does scary Japanese. There's a show, I'm trying to remember the name of it right now, but like, it is so creepy, but not like horrifying scary. It's just like really creepy, like just really uncomfortable and creepy. Like stories to tell in the dark, creepy, uncomfortable. Like the characters just look weird. Okay, I'll be right back with the poll. Mary, I watched the first season of Black Mirror, or a few episodes, and it was honestly, I don't really like dystopian stuff because it hits too close to home, kind of. And that show was just, to be honest, like that stuff's already happening. People like are like laughing, like, wouldn't that be crazy if we were all controlled by computer? We are, dude. We are. So I actually didn't finish watching it because it's depressing, and it's actually like a prediction. Instead, it's like basically a view of our future instead of like life imitates art. And that one's just too uncomfortable for me because it's too plausible, and I already know what kind of hellscape we're living in. I don't need it. I like to watch things for escapism. I'm not one of those people. Like, I'm not a true crime person. Because I like escapism. I don't like to dwell on the negative energy of stuff, and like, I don't know, it's just, I don't know, to keep my vibration high, I like to escape. I don't like to watch stuff like that. Does that make sense? I'm actually not that into that kind of stuff. You're like that too, MCF? Okay, yeah, same way. Oh my god, Jamie, thank you. I'm obsessed with his towel on his head. Why is it so cute? God, it's cute. Plus, I will also say, from a writer's perspective, Black Mirror's good. But in terms of not liking dystopian and apocalypse movies, from a writer's perspective, I'll tell you that apocalypse and like dystopian movies, the writers like get a pass to just be lazy. They literally are like, yeah, well, that's really kind of far-fetched, but it's the end of the world, so we can put it in. And they do. And if you actually look at the writing from that lens, it's just inane. The stuff they do in those movies is like, well, it's the end of the world, so we can do whatever we want. And it's just, I don't know, I just don't really find them that enjoyable. Good job, CJ. Yeah, that's the same reason I didn't watch Handmaid's Tale. I never watched it for the exact same reason, because I'm not into that genre. Yeah, no thanks. Plus, I'm like a raging feminist, so I feel like I don't need to watch stuff like I already know. Like, I don't need that message. I got it. Like, I'm glad a lot of other people watched it. It didn't do any good. It didn't, like, make people pay attention or wake people up at all. But I just can't, you know what I mean? No thanks. That's Scarlett. Yeah, exactly, Holly. That's exactly right. And I know myself well enough to know that that show was just going to take me off. So I was like, I'm not even going to watch it. I'm never going to watch it. Like, that's not for me. No, thank you. I already know. I already know the underlying message. No, thank you. Love you, Jade. Good night, Solly. Good night, Cloud Dancing. Echo, me too. I was doing it today while I was driving and I was thinking about you guys. I was driving in my car and I was like, and like I was at a traffic light and I was like, if only the guy next to me knew what I'm doing and what song this even is, but he doesn't. Okay, guys, the next poll is ready. We have the marsh light, which is the Irish folklore I was just talking about from So Weird, with the will-o'-the-wisp, the light. We have the selkies. I changed it. It is the door in the water, but I changed it to selkies, just so people know that's the story. The selkies, which is also Irish folklore. We have the Fresno Nightcrawlers, which is a story about haunted pajama pants that cruise around California at night. And then we have the Salem Prospect Tour. And then we have the Flatwoods Monster, which is about an alien that landed in West Virginia. And you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. Thank you, Jamie. Oh my God, that was so beautiful. That's one of my favorites, Jamie. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love that one. Who's it going to be, you guys? The Marshlight, the Selkies, the Fresno Creepy Pants, the Salem Prospect Tour, or the Flatwoods Monster? Hi, Andrew. I also never watched Game of Thrones, CJ. I tried, and in the first episode, like the first 10 minutes, a bunch of wolves were unalived, and I was like, nope, Nope, this is Dances with Wolves all over again. No. And I shut it off. But I have been told that I would like the lady that's one of the characters. I've been told that I would like one of the characters. I don't remember the name of the one, but people have referenced her a lot to me. I'm not sure which one. Literally, Holly, I can't handle when animals die and stuff. Like, I know humans is hard for me to watch too. I'm not good with gore. But animals, like a whole nother level. My mom took me to Dances with Wolves because she was a Native American historian when I was a little kid. She took me to the movie theater to watch Dances with Wolves. I was literally like preschool. And I had a meltdown when the wolf died. Like, hyperventilating, crying, breathing, and she had to carry me out of the theater, and everybody was looking at like, oh, poor girl, why'd her mom take her? And my mom was like, I wanted you to know what the plight of the Indians was really like. And I'm like, the wolf, and it scarred me for life. So when I saw that at Game of Thrones with the wolves, I was like, nope, that's it, bye, click off, bye. My mom did not spare me from the atrocities of history. She straight up was like, you're gonna see this at age 4 and you're gonna know that Andrew Jackson was a horrible, you know. My mom was like gung-ho. Yeah, CJ, and I don't have an interest in anything that's called the Red Wedding. Like zero desire for something like that. Zero desire. I stay high vibration. I don't like to even think about stuff like that. Like, ew. No thanks. You're not either, Grim? Yeah. No thanks. I just, like, yeah. The apocalypse ones are just like the one with Will Smith, I Am Legend. Everybody talked about how great that is. It's so depressing. That's the most depressing movie I've ever seen in my life. What the hell? Like, that's the most depressing movie I've ever, like, I just don't like apocalypse stuff. At all. Oh my God. The Littlest Toaster. I have that on DVD. I bought it on DVD at Amoeba Records when I lived in LA. And are you kidding? I feel like no one talks about that movie. I loved it. And the heated blanket, stop it, with his little dial nose and the scary air conditioner and the vacuum cleaner. That was like, I watched that movie. That was like, you know, those movies kids watch 7,000 times. I'm pretty sure that was one of mine because that's burned into my brain. The vacuum. I know. The freaking vacuum. And the blankie, stop it. The baby blankie, and he was a heated blankie with his little dial on his, just the cutest. Anything you anthropomorphize, I melt like my heart turns to mush if you anthropomorphize anything. I'm like, look at it. You could put eyeballs on anything. And I'd be like, the proof is I have crystals with eyeballs that are literally carved into, and I'm like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So if you add eyeballs to anything, I'm like, oh my God. I love him. What got heavy, Thay? Because we talked about Brave Little Toaster. I know, the baby blanket was so cute. And I can't believe they like it. You know what can I just point out something really quickly to you guys? In case you guys didn't notice, Toy Story literally stole it's like literally Brave Little Toaster, but with toys instead of household appliances. They stole that movie. Brave Little Toaster was the original Toy Story. Hello. But a toaster isn't a toy. So they were like, let's make it a cowboy instead. Not too much on Toy Story. Sorry, Kim. But you know it's true. Look at the dates of when they came out. Brave Little Toaster was what, like 87 or something? Like, The proof is in the copyright. They did. Toy Story stole Brave Little Toaster. And the first time the first one came out, I watched it. And at the end, I was like, this is just like Brave Little Toaster. What the hell? Like, they went looking for their owner. Like, I've heard this before. But all you have to do is wait 10 years, no one remembers, and you can just steal people's ideas, apparently. That's the name of the game. I'll tell you what I did like is the Toy Story with that grumpy ass teddy bear that smelled like strawberries. God, he was cute. Why was he so cute? All right. The winner is the Marshlight, the Will-o'-the-Wisp. Don't get me started on Fox and the Hound. That movie traumatized me. That movie took away a little piece of my idealist heart. Where I was like, but they could be friends. They could, but not everybody. They could be friends. They could go against their. That movie just really did something to me. Yeah, that movie like ruined me. I'll never get over it. Yeah, Chopper. Don't even get me started. I still can't even like. I will literally never watch that movie again. They won't let you connect your points, Lily? That's so weird. Just swipe out and come back in. Swipe out and come back in. As long as the live's still going, you can collect them even if you like restart your phone. You're 100%. Yeah, that movie was not okay and I guess it did teach a valid lesson, but like not really, because I don't know. I hated it. Like they just followed society's rules, even though they knew that each other wasn't bad. They just were like dumb idiots that followed what society expected of them and hated each other. I hate that. Yeah, it was unnecessary. It was probably, I would say, the worst Disney movie that ever came out. Yep. Like people talk about Bambi. I'm like, no, dude. Nope. Fox and the Hound's worse. Because Bambi, it was like hunting and food and killing. That's part of nature. Fox and the Hound is straight up like you lose your best friend because they get convinced by society to hate you. That's cruel shit. And it is a harsh reality. And I'm like, dude, really, Disney? So what do you guys think Disney's worst movie is? Because I vote Fox and the Hound. That movie really, really, like, after I watched it, I cried. Like, I cried and cried and cried. And I, like, did not understand why I, like, was like, wait. So they're, like, not, wait a minute, what? Because remember, he even says, next time I see you, I'm not going to let you go. Like, the dog even says, like, I'm going to kill you next time if I ever see you again. And they grew up together. I'm like, I don't know. I'll never get over it. I'll never get over it. It was the worst movie ever. I've never heard of Radio Flyer, Jamie. I don't even know why I brought up Fox and the Hound. That movie literally makes me so sad. They didn't stay friends. They did not. They didn't stay friends. They agreed not to unalive each other. And then the dog said, but don't let me see you again, or I'll have to do what they tell me to do. Yeah, but then at the end, they part ways and they say they can't be friends. Do you guys not remember the end? Because they both say we won't hurt each other, but we have to separate. Yeah, see? Yep. He saves him from the hunter and that's it. See? Yep, Holly. And then he says, you can go, but I won't. Basically, I'm not going to do this again. So don't let me ever see you again. Which is the word, like, yeah, he saves him just that one last time. And then he says, don't let me see you again because I'm a hunting dog now. So I think you guys blocked out the ending. Because it was even worse because he saves him and then the little fox thinks, oh my God, he is my friend. And then he looks at him, he says, get out of here. I don't want to see you ever again, or I won't let you go next time. Yep. And then they moved. Yep. So anyway, the fox was so hurt. I know. That's what was so heartbreaking. The fox didn't do anything. He just lived his own wild life. He didn't conform and like, I don't know. Yep, I'm the fox. Justin, I'm sorry. Yeah. Let's all go to therapy tomorrow, you guys. Draconis said, not my brain. I'm so sorry. I just ruined it. You and somebody else both thought they were friends at the end. I'm like, did you change the story to ease the trauma? Because what? No, they didn't. He saved him and then he told him to get the F out or he would next time I see you, I'm not gonna let you go. Yeah, it was Todd. Todd. He was like, but I'm just a little fox named Todd. God. I do need to go to some Fox and the Hound therapy. Well, I just did it right here. I just unloaded how sad it made me feel right here. Anyway. Yeah, we all need therapy. Yeah, I can't. Literally, same Whitney. Me too. I was livid when I watched it. I never got over it. It literally changed the way I looked at everything. I swear, like human relationships. I was like, so you're just gonna change for society when your friends real different and they tell you not to like it was, yep. That movie, I wouldn't show it to my worst enemy. You know, we've been blabbing too long when it switches to the banshee music. All right. Oh my God, yeah. Ratatouille's adorable. Thank you, CJ. On a brighter note, Ratatouille's adorable. Ratatouille's so cute. That little mouse can cook. You know what else was really cute? The rescuers. Like what? Bernard. Thank you for bringing up Ratatouille, CJ. I'm going to watch that this week. I love that movie. I would also say that if I worked in a kitchen and a rat jumped in my hat and wanted to be my friend and teach me how to cook, I would 100% let him. I would let him with bells on. Mother Nature, yes. Land Before Time was also traumatizing. Like, yeah. And yes, that is what happened to the dinosaurs. But did I need to know that when I was that young? No, I didn't. I don't think Land Before Time was Disney. I think Land Before Time was like one of the others. Because it's not the same kind of animation as Disney, was it? I don't think it was Disney. It was a little bit of a different style. It was more like the Fern Gully style. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Fern Gully and Land Before Time were made by the same company. I don't think DreamWorks existed back then. I feel like it was like Paramount or I don't know, like Warner Brothers, or do you know what I'm talking about? We need to somebody look it up. But I feel like, do you know what I'm talking about? The animation's a little different. You know what I mean? It was a little more like adult-esque looking in Land Before Time and Fern Gully, if that makes sense, versus like Fox and the Hound, which is just a lot more cartoon kid. I don't even know if that makes sense. Universal. There we go. There we go. Yep, Universal. I thought so. So, yeah. So I was right. So those were both Universal? Yeah, because I feel like Disney's animators, it's just a different style visually. Was Fievel also Universal? I feel like Fievel may have been Universal. Oh, Lady Rose. If you want a list, Over the Hedge is so cute. Stop it. I love that movie. I actually love animated movies. Yeah, The Rescuers was so good. Misbehaving. We were just talking about that. And Bernard and the creepy lady that would peel off her eyelashes. I'll never forget that. For some reason, the way she peeled off her eyelashes just really, that visual stuck with me. Whoever animated that part was skilled. Yeah, there's a lot, and I love them. Like I've always been a big animated movie fan. I'm not gonna lie. Despicable Me is phenomenal. The original. Also, I'm not gonna lie. The one about the yeah, Coraline is spooky. Yeah, Fievel Goes West. Was he Universal? Fievel. But I loved Fievel and his big hat. But I will say, there's also an animated movie called Spirit that made me cry. Guess why? Because it's about a horse. All the animals always make me cry. That one was really, man, it was Universal. See, Justin, I can tell the difference in the animation. Isn't that funny? Fievel looks like Universal animation. Like I could tell. Was Fievel the one where there was that really creepy Ratigan? Was Ratigan and Fievel? Ratigan. Oh my god. Why is that coming out of my brain? Yeah, that horse couldn't get a break, you guys. Spirit was... And I think I watched that like as an older... Like, I don't think I was a little kid when Spirit came out. And I like cried. Kind of like how Up makes you cry. And Up came out when I was older too. Doesn't matter. Like, what in the world? Oh, The Great Mouse Detective. Thank you. God, I loved that movie. Was that Universal? That had to be Universal. The Great Mouse Detective, I watched 5,000 times with that creepy bat and the Ratigan. That had to be Universal. There's no way that was Disney. I feel like Universals were a little more edgy, weren't they? Ratigan was so scary. He was like the Gaston of rats. Okay, anyway, quick swig and we'll go to Marshlight. The Great Mouse Detective was Disney? It's shocking. That's surprising. Thank you, Jamie, for the hanging lights, and thank you for the hand hearts maze. Thank you for the confetti misbehaving. Rainbows, thank you for the cozy cryptids. Hi, Drew. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Marshlight. I took the internship because I needed the credits. And because I thought it would be a quiet summer. And that's what I wanted. Something quiet. The job was with a tiny nonprofit in a dying Louisiana town called Belmare, just south of Lake Maurepas. They handled wetland conservation, mostly grant writing and seasonal cleanup crews. I'd be staying in a loaned cabin and helping digitize land records, logging reports on water levels and wildlife sightings. But I should have asked more questions. Whitney, has anyone not seen Xenon, Girl from the 21st Century? Come on. Duh. Don't make me sing Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. Belmare didn't show up on most maps. It wasn't quite a ghost town, but it sure felt like it was getting there. CJ, that's because you probably deemed it a girl movie. The roads were cracked and sun-faded. Gas station pumps were bagged, and the post office was boarded up. The only signs of life were a few sagging houses wrapped in moss and kudzu, and an overgrown Catholic cemetery that leaned toward the bayou like it was trying to slide back into the swamp. Stetus Lepidus. I was saying back when it came out, you were probably like, I'm not watching that one. That's a girl movie. I think you were probably too young, to be honest. It came out a long time ago. The nonprofit headquarters was a converted bait shop on stilts. The woman who ran it was in her 70s and barely looked up from her crossword when I arrived. I know, I'm just kidding, CJ. I don't even know what you talk like. She handed me a ring of keys and a box of old manila folders and told me the cabin was on the far edge of the old preserve, but that it hadn't been used in years. I drove out there with the windows down, trying to pretend like I wasn't sweating through my shirt. The cabin was about 10 minutes from the main road. Just a short bridge away from sinking into the marsh. Cypress trees loomed on all sides, their roots tangled in the mud, and the smell of sulfur and rot drifted heavy on the air. I remember standing on the porch, looking at the black water beneath the stilts and thinking that if the earth had a throat, the swamp was where it choked. Thank you for pinning that, Kim. I love that. The first night was uneventful. Just heat and mosquitoes. I found an old box fan and I plugged it in by the window, set up my laptop, and I fell asleep to the chirr of frogs and the distant pops from the marsh. It was the second night that things started to get strange. I woke up around 3 a.m. to a light outside the window. Not headlights from a car and not an inadequate flashlight. It was blue, pale, and pulsing faintly like a dying star just above the waterline it floated. I sat up slowly and I pressed my face to the window screen. The light hovered maybe 20 feet from the cabin just beyond the edge of the trees, casting long, watery shadows that rippled across the roots and the grass. It drifted slightly left and then right, and then it vanished. I waited for something to follow, an engine, a voice, anything. But there was nothing. Just the humid air and the sudden absence of the frogs. Good night, Whitney. Good night, CJ. In the morning, I told myself it must have been swamp gas or a trick of light. Maybe I was more tired than I'd realized. But then, I looked it up. Thank you, Ryan. And what I found blew my mind. Will-o'-the-wisp, marsh fire, ignis fatuus. All names for the same thing. Mysterious lights that appear over wetlands, and they're supposedly harmless. Good night, Scarlet. But I started locking the door at night after that. The next few days passed quietly enough. I digitized a dozen old surveys, took a kayak into the cypress groves, even spotted a few spoonbills and a nest of baby gators. But something felt wrong in the air. It was too quiet. I hadn't seen another person near the cabin since I had arrived. And the nonprofit office had closed early every day. I chalked it up to heat or disinterest, until I found the folder labeled Marshlight. It was buried under a stack of soil surveys in the back of the office filing cabinet. The kind of thing you only find if you're bored or nosy, and I was both. The label was handwritten in red marker, faded with what looked like water damage on the corners. And inside were 8 printed reports, all local, all describing sightings going back 40 years. The first one was from 1976. A fisherman claiming a blue light followed his boat and capsized it. The next was from 1982. A woman who said her brother wandered into the swamp chasing a lantern and never came back. Others followed, years apart, but eerily similar. Lights, disappearances, things seen in the water. The last one was dated 1999. And it simply read, subject claimed light spoke to her in dead brother's voice. Found wandering 6 miles from camp with feet covered in blood and no sign of brother. None of these were in the digital files that I was uploading. Someone had deliberately kept them separate. Hi, Cherokee. I was talking about you earlier with the Spearfinger story. Welcome in. I asked the old woman at the nonprofit about it the next day. and she looked up from her crossword for a long second, and then she murmured something about local stories and people drinking too much. And when I pressed, she snapped that I shouldn't go out at night, especially not near the standing pools. And then she dropped her pen and wouldn't look at me again. That night I didn't sleep. The light came back, closer this time. Thank you, rainbows. Thank you, Sarah. I watched it from the crack in the curtain, how it moved in slow serpentine loops across the water, bobbing like it was searching. And then it stopped, right at the edge of the porch. It hovered there, flickering faintly like breath on glass. All of a sudden, I felt like the room had been vacuum sealed. And then I heard scraping like claws on metal mesh on the screen door. I didn't go outside. I didn't even breathe. The next morning, I found the porch screen torn open, low to the floor, and muddy prints, small ones, not human, and not animal, at least not any I've ever seen. A cross between fingers and hooves. Good night, Holly, sweet dreams. I drove straight to the parish records office. It was a cinder block building next to an abandoned car wash, and the AC barely worked. I found a part-time clerk who let me comb through old reports while he napped in the break room. And that's where I found the name. The Bell Mare Devil. Back in the early 1900s, locals believed in a swamp entity that lured people off paths with blue lanterns. They say it mimics voices, steals faces, and wears the skin of the people it lures. One folklorist from Tulane described it as a cryptid with shape-shifting abilities capable of assuming familiar forms to draw victims into the water. It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't a story to keep kids from staying out after dark. It was real. I rushed back to the cabin and packed everything. My laptop, clothes, everything but the records. I wasn't staying one more night. But then I saw the porch floor was soaked in dark, viscous water. It was still wet. And whatever had done this had just been there minutes before. I locked myself in the cabin and I called every number I had. But no one answered. Not the nonprofit, not the police, not even my mom. That night, I heard it whispering my name through the walls. It kept saying it again and again, like it was practicing how to say my name. I pressed my back against the door and I held a kitchen knife in my lap until sunrise. When the morning came, I bolted to my car. Cherokee, don't worry, it gets stuck in all of our heads. Literally, we were just talking about that. But when I bolted to the car, my car was gone. Not vandalized, not broken into, it was gone. The gravel all around it was disturbed, tracks hoofed and deep, led into the tree line as if something had dragged my car away. That's when I lost it. I screamed until my throat gave out. I tried running down the road, but the heat and the fear made me dizzy, and I collapsed in a ditch full of reeds and biting flies. I had no choice. I had to go back. I went back to the cabin, and I barricaded the door. I found the old propane stove, lit it, and sat by it like a campfire, knife clutched in hand. And then came a knock. This time it was deliberate, rhythmic knuckles on wood. I didn't move. And then a voice. My mother's voice called from outside the door. She said that she had come to bring me home, and that she was sorry that she hadn't answered my calls, and that she was worried about me. But I knew it wasn't her. She lived 3 states away. There was no way she could have gotten here that quickly. And then I heard another voice. Mine. It was me, outside, crying, pleading to be let in. I covered my ears and I rocked on the floor. The voices circled the cabin all night, laughing, begging, mimicking, but I didn't open the door. Sometime before dawn, the stove flickered and died, and the last thing I saw was the blue light rising again through the floorboards, seeping up like a fog. And then everything went black. I woke up in a hospital weeks later. They found me on the porch of the cabin, dehydrated, feverish, and repeating my own name over and over again. They said the nonprofit shut down the day I went missing, and the old woman who ran it vanished, and the property was seized by the state. When they questioned me, I said that I think I had a heat stroke and hallucination. I lied because the truth was worse. When I got my belongings, my lucky red bandana that I've had almost all my life was missing. In its place was an old scrap of flannel that was not mine. I moved back north and I started going to therapy, and I tried to forget what had happened to me. But last week, I saw a news article. A team of campers had gone missing near Lake Maurepas. The only clue was a picture one of them uploaded before disappearing. It showed a dim, marshy landscape and a small flickering light hovering just above the water, and bright blue. And that's the tale of the marshlight. And yes, spooky, scary, Sherry, that's why I write my stories like this too, is because actual paranormal and supernatural encounters that these people have don't have an ending that's tied up in a nice bow. Most of the time when these things happen to you, you like never have closure. You never know what the hell happened. You don't get some like, hi, yes, you saw me that night, I was Bigfoot. Or yes, I was a mimic and I was pretending to be your mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never get that tied up in a nice bow. And I think that's what I try to make my stories, because they are based off of true story, and there isn't an ending to these people's true encounters because they don't know what the hell happened. So that's why I write a lot of these that way, because the person who experiences that's all they know. Like, you know, so it's very spooky. I think it makes it spookier when there isn't some bow tied, because that's what the real experiences are like. You know, you don't really ever get a confirmation when you see something unexplained. Matt, what kind of frats did you go to? That's literally a bait shop on stilts in the middle of a swamp. I'm not familiar with the Fox Files. What's that? Thank you, Odd. That's such a compliment. I appreciate that. I love those stories. Good night, Ryan. Sweet dreams. Thank you. Shannon, thank you for the hand hearts. One of the frats in your college had to rent out one because there wasn't a bait shop on still. Wait, did you grow up in this, like the bayous? Where? Cool. Strange things happen in every episode. It's called the Fox Files. I'll have to look it up. All right, you guys. You know what time it is. That's so weird, Lily. Well, don't worry. It's done this before, and then it worked the next day for Michelle. Right, Michelle? The days where it wouldn't even let you give me heart me. This app is something else, I'll tell you that. If it's not one thing, it's something else, you know? It's always something else. It happened to Holly too, yep. Matt said it happened to Holly too. So it's not just you, it's happened to several people. It's clearly like an actual glitch. Oh, Lily, that sucks. Thank you, girl. And yeah, it's happened to Holly and Michelle as well. So you're not alone. And the next day, Michelle's heart me showed back up. But you know what? It was weird. It happened to me today too. I just realized it, like the things that turn red that you're allowed to hit to collect points, they were orange. Is that what you're seeing? Because mine were orange today. And I was like, what is that? This app is really just always having some type of a problem. Jess, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Making grilled cheese and soup? Yes. Yum. It is, in fact, grilled cheese time, guys. Jada, hey, you added a UFO. Welcome in, cutie. Oh, the X-Files. Oh, you didn't mean Fox Files. You meant X-Files like Fox Mulder. Ah, yes. I love that show, and I have stories based off of those. Like the Crawl Space is based off of Toombs, the famous character, and I love that show so much. Sorry, I didn't get what you meant. Yeah, I love the X-Files. Love it. Love it. Quick swig and I'll be right back with the night shift at Sycamore Diner. And feel free to, one last time, do me a big favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner. And there's a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs and helps us grow this beautiful porch. Also sharing to your stories helps too. And thank you for all the taps tonight, guys. I appreciate it. And yes, not only Matt was it on Fox, but his name was also Fox Mulder. So, oh my God, thank you, Rox. Thank you. God, I could look at those all day. They're so cute. Oh, don't worry. Wait, I'm here for grilled cheese time. I'm awake. Don't be sorry for the caps, girl. You can do caps whenever you want. Scarlett, yes, you're awake. You ready for the grilled cheese? I'll take a quick swig and hurry up so you can hear it. She always falls asleep. You're still awake, and we're late tonight. Do you have some extra coffee today? Because I went over again tonight. But at least I go over when I blab. I compensate for the blabbing time by going over for you guys. I'm not going to just blab and then be like, all right, no stories, bye. I do that on Wednesdays. Tomorrow, by the way, tomorrow morning, I am live in about 9 hours. If you guys want to join me, I will be on camera. I don't tell stories. Sometimes I am in like my PJs still, and we just chill. It's called Witchy Wednesday. We talk about witchy stuff. Of course, Carly. Yeah. I go over a lot though. I enjoy doing this, so it's not really like it's like, oh man, I have to go over. I like it. I lose track of time because I love being here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I don't know why I just did that. There we go. All right, quick swig and we'll be back with the diner. Yes, on this account, Bisbee. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. or in between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. It depends on how I feel in the morning when I wake up. But sometimes it's 11, sometimes it's 11:30, sometimes it's 12. But between 11 and 12, I go live on Wednesdays, and then I'm live for like 4 hours. Like we just hang out and I talk and come on camera so people know I'm not an AI person. Yes, Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, come hang out. It's so fun. Plus, I might do outdoors tomorrow. We'll see how the weather goes. Oh, you're not scared, Rawl? Oh. Well, my bad. I'm sorry. Whoa. What about now? Did that work? Also, I don't have anything in my background that says I am here to scare you. I don't tell scary stories. Notice how it doesn't say scary anywhere? So sorry if I'm not scary enough for you, but I never promised to be, sweetheart. Wait, Scarlett, what did Andrew Jackson, where did he come up again? Because are you guys talking about how I hate him? I guess I can make you fun of the fact that, wait, I'll be there. I gotta hear the Andrew Jackson stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me. Trust me. I'll tell you about Andrew Jackson. I'll tell you all about him. I'll also tell you about Daniel Boone, if you want to hear about Daniel Boone. But in a totally different light. Daniel Boone was the zaddy of history. Hi, Isabel. Nice to have you back. I call him Zaddy Boone, and I sure do. Ask Christina. Oh, Christina's probably asleep. Ask Christina how I feel about Daniel Boone and how I've always called him Zaddy Boone. Well, since Zaddy was a word. And then one day I was like, well, you know what? He's my historical crush. I know, don't let... Well, Daniel Boone's not alive anymore, so Mothman can get over it. I said, he's my historical crush, Christina. And she was like, people don't have those. And I was like, what do you mean? People don't have historical crushes? Oh, guess I'm weird. You know all about Mr. Jackson? Yeah. He was a piece of work. He was a terrible person. You do, Kim? Good. I'm so glad. Not your proudest Tennessee son, Matt. Yes, Isabel, I'm so glad you're back. Scarlett says, now I'm trying to think of a historical crush. You know why? Because you don't have one. Because people don't have them. Christina's right. That's not a thing. But my mom was a history professor. And she was a Native American history professor. So I grew up learning all about that time period. And like I said, learning that Andrew Jackson was a horrible person and Daniel Boone was like zaddy. And that's just how it goes. Matt, I didn't even know you were from Tennessee. I love that. So, you hanging out with Spearfinger lately? Yes, Lovely does too. Nikola Tesla. Which he is also my historical crush, but totally different kinds. Daniel Boone's like rugged. Nikola Tesla's a beautiful genius who is also very handsome. Yep, Lovely loves Tesla. Scarlett, you're so cute. See, you don't because nobody does. Nobody does. But if you want to know why Daniel Boone is so cool, because how's that for a plug? Join me tomorrow on Witchy Wednesday. How exciting could that be? Where I'll tell you why Daniel Boone was so cool. And I'll tell you why he had Mother Nature. Hi, Brandy. Why Daniel Boone actually, like Mother Nature even had a crush on him. And no, I'm not kidding. Nope. I can tell you examples of when Mother Nature had Daniel Boone's back. Just saying. Anyway, that happens tomorrow. Quick swig and we will be back with the diner. Right, Rochelle? Who doesn't have a crush on Tesla? He was incredibly handsome and brilliant. Mother Nature. Mother Nature came in right at the radio. She says, I can confirm. She's got a crush on Daniel Boone. See, I knew it. I'm just spitting facts, guys. Mother Nature's here to confirm. Perfect timing. You're so cute. That was like the best timing ever. Hi, Jana. Welcome to the porch. My name is Devin, and I'm about to tell a spooky bedtime story. This is our last one of the night, but I'm here every night at 10 p.m. till sometime after 1. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. Oh yeah, Rochelle, he was done so dirty by everybody, by the whole country. They labeled him a national security threat, which is like ridiculous. Anyway. Matt, that's my favorite thing about Andrew Jackson. The only thing, because I hate him, is that he actually went and investigated the Bell Witch House, which is the most obscure thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh, you're sad, Janet? Yes. Heated blanket sounds amazing. But I feel like That's just so random. Like, Andrew Jackson did what? And he went and stayed there and was like, all right, dude, let me see this ghost. I want to investigate. Andrew Jackson was like the OG paranormal investigator, which is so weird. That's the most bizarre detail about him. Also, everybody's had a thing for Elvis, Scarlett. He's so handsome. Jana, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the porch. I swear we have a porch. You just missed it. I just changed it to the diner. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Yes, Jana, we're all about the Are You Afraid of the Dark in here. I'm not usually the kind of person who pulls over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October, and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday, and my plan had been to drive straight through. 5 hours, no stops. Thank you, Ryan. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. I had taken the wrong exit trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road, surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. And that's when I saw the neon sign. Sycamore Diner. The O in Sycamore flickered like it hadn't worked right in years. Thank you, E173. But the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon. A tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. Oh, thanks, Jenna. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map and get back on the highway. But I should have just kept driving. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled, but not like a normal bell. It made this sharp metallic ping that echoed longer than it should have. The air inside was warm, almost too warm. And it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. Checkerboard floor, red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools. Even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people, they all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. Not in a rude way, just quiet, like they weren't expecting me. like I'd walked into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish. A waitress, tall, with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart," she said, handing me a laminated menu. I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. "Yeah, the highway's a mess." She chuckled, patted my shoulder, and said, "Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers." I sat down at a corner booth and the vinyl creaked. I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around and everyone looked normal, sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard, drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox. And an older woman stirring tea, like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eye, like they were there but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me out of the corner of their eyes even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee. Strong, hot, and surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple, safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." But that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my phone to check the map. No signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS. Just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. I glanced out the foggy window and the storm was still going, but now the wind had picked up. I could see the power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark, but the diner stayed perfectly lit. Not even a flicker. The food came fast. Too fast, like under 5 minutes. But it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries with that little metal cup of ketchup on the side. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten at a lot of diners, greasy spoons, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect, and the coffee never ran out. Every time I took a sip, it was somehow full again. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. He walked right past my table, nodded once, and whispered, "Don't stay past midnight." That's all he said. What? But he was already out the door. The waitress gave me a tight smile and walked over, collecting his empty mug. Thank you, Michelle. Old Earl, he's always saying weird stuff. Just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me, not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register. 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. But when I stood up, the lights flickered. Just once and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. Thank you, Ryan. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in midair. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped. Like someone hit pause on the entire scene. I took a step back and the jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. Not music, not a storm, a voice, not coming from anyone I could see. Just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest. I turned the knob. Locked, of course it was locked. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside. Just the wind and the rain and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE. I turned back toward the dining room and everyone was gone. Not frozen anymore, just gone. The booths were empty, no plates, no crumbs, no mugs, no sign that anyone had ever even been there. Except for my plate. Still warm, and still half eaten. And then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors, her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. The same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless. "You shouldn't be here, honey," she said, in that same cheerful tone. "Not yet." I stumbled back, knocking over a chair as she took one slow step toward me. The others, they were waiting, but you just wandered in. She raised a hand and the walls began to shimmer. Literally, shimmer. Like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled and the red booths started to fade. becoming outlines, and then shadows, and then nothing. And then I saw it. Underneath the illusion. Oh my god, that was so cool. Thank you, Code Red. It was charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot. Like the diner had burned down long ago. Good night, Thay. Sweet dreams. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. 1 second I was inside, and the next I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore. Just weeds and puddles. No neon sign. No glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No music, no Porch Lore podcast. Thank you, Code Red. I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone. Not for weeks. Not until I finally looked up Sycamore Diner on a local history site. And I found it. It burned to the ground in 1972. A gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight. And everyone inside was killed. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article? The same checkerboard floor, same red booths, same neon sign. Sycamore. Thank you, Mace. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, smiling. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little. Because I know I was there. And I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had. And I didn't even pay for it. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. And just for you, Scarlett. There you go. Because we all know that's what's going to be stuck in our head tomorrow, and is stuck in our head every day. Because we listen to this song all night, and then we go around town tomorrow, and we're all going to be like, when we're driving around, and it's literally just, did you guys see John, my Cherokee friend who helped me with the pronunciation? He came in and said, this song's been stuck in my head all day. You busted out laughing. Yeah, I'm so glad, Scarlett. Well, guys, hi, Spooky Bestie. M2. No, it was a one series, Ryan. Good night, everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow morning if you want to join me in the daytime. In no big deal, just 9 hours. I'll see you guys live and I will be on camera, and I won't be telling stories, and I'll just be hanging out with you guys, probably in my pajamas because I'm still awake. And then I will see you guys again tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you guys get some good sleep. I love you guys very much. And don't forget, stay spooky.